Commander Thex-9 stared at the medical scanner read out, his 3 hearts stopping in perfect synchronization. The human was supposed to be dead. Hell, they were all supposed to be dead. The entire species had been wiped out 6 months ago when the Terran homeworld turned into a radioactive wasteland. Yet here lay Marcus Kane, breathing steadily in the medical bay of their salvage vessel, looking annoyingly peaceful for someone who should be cosmic dust. Lieutenant Pora 3 approached with the caution of someone who'd seen too many impossible things lately. The human's vitals are stabilizing. Thex-9's mandibles clicked in disbelief. This thing should be a corpse floating in space, not whatever the void this is. The war had ended with humanity's extinction. The hegemony had celebrated for weeks. No more unpredictable tactical maneuvers. No more insane suicide charges that somehow worked. No more humans doing absolutely ridiculous things that defied every military manual ever written. The galaxy had finally returned to sensible, logical warfare, but Marcus Kane was breathing. And that meant everything they thought they knew was wrong. Where exactly did we find this specimen? Thex-9 asked, though he already knew the answer would make his headache worse. Drifting in the debris field around what used to be Mars, sir. In a cryo-pod that, well, it shouldn't have survived the planetary bombardment. Shouldn't have survived. Thex-9 repeated the words like a curse. Of course it shouldn't have, because humans never do what they are supposed to do. He studied the readings again. Heart rate steady. Brain activity normal. No signs of radiation poisoning despite floating in what should have been a lethal environment. The human looked remarkably human. Brown hair, stubbled jaw, the kind of face that probably smiled too much and asked too many questions. Sir, should we wake him up? Thex-9 considered this. On one hand, military protocol demanded they interrogate any survivor. On the other hand, this was a human, and humans had a disturbing tendency to turn simple situations into complete disasters through sheer audacity and questionable decision-making. Absolutely not, he decided. We are taking him to high command. Let someone with more rank and better life insurance deal with this. But as if the universe had a sense of humor, the human's eyes suddenly opened. Marcus Kane sat up slowly, blinking in confusion. His gaze swept the medical bay, taking in the alien technology, the non-human faces staring at him, and the fact that he was apparently naked except for a medical gown. Well, he said, his voice surprisingly calm, this is new. The room fell silent. Thex-9 had fought in 17 major battles, survived 3 different alien plagues, and once talked his way out of a black hole. But something about the human's casual tone made his skin crawl. Human, Thex-9 said carefully. You are aboard the hegemony vessel Retribution. You were found drifting in space. Retribution? Marcus scratched his head. That's a bit dramatic, don't you think? I would have gone with something friendlier, like the helpful neighbor or the we come in peace. What? Your ship name. It's very stabby, not exactly welcoming to potential guests. Lieutenant Pora 3 made a strangled sound. Sir, is it making jokes? I think it is, Thex-9 replied, feeling like he was slowly losing his mind. Human, do you understand your situation? Marcus looked around again, then shrugged. I'm guessing the war didn't go great for my side? Your species is extinct. Ouch. Marcus winced. Yeah, that's pretty not great. So, what's the plan here? Are you going to dissect me? Put me in a zoo? Make me fight other survivors for your entertainment? There are no other survivors. Are you sure? Because humans are notoriously hard to kill. Trust me, we have been trying to do it to ourselves for centuries. Thex-9 felt his mandibles twitching. This was exactly why he hated dealing with humans. They never reacted appropriately to anything. Faced with extinction, most species would show fear, despair, or at least concern. This one was making small talk. The human homeworld was destroyed, he said, trying to maintain some semblance of authority. Your military was defeated. Your colonies were eliminated. There is nothing left. Marcus seemed to consider this. That does sound thorough. Points for effort, I guess. Though I have to ask, if you won, why do you look so worried? I am not worried. You are doing that thing with your mouth parts. The clicking. It's very anxious. Nine realized he was indeed clicking his mandibles. He forced himself to stop. "We are taking you to High Command for interrogation." "Interrogation?" Marcus brightened. "Oh good. I love Q&A sessions. Fair warning though, I'm not great with serious sieges. I tend to get sidetracked. Like if you ask me about military secrets, I will probably end up telling you about this amazing sandwich I had once. This is not a game, human. Everything's a game if you have the right attitude." Lieutenant Pora 3 leaned closer to Thex 9. "Sir, perhaps we should sedate it again." "No," Marcus said cheerfully. "Let's not do that. I just woke up and I'm curious about things. Like how long was I out? What year is it? Did anyone ever figure out what happened to that missing sock that disappears in the laundry?" "The missing what?" "Sock. You put 2 in the washing machine but only 1 comes out. It's been humanity's greatest mystery for decades." Thex 9 stared at him. "Your species faced extinction, and you are concerned about laundry. Well, I'm not really facing extinction anymore, am I? I'm right here talking to you. So technically, humanity's survival rate just improved dramatically." The logic was infuriating because it was technically correct. Thex 9 had spent months celebrating the end of human unpredictability, and now he was trapped in a conversation about missing socks with the universe's last human. "Besides," Marcus continued, "I'm curious about your species. You are hegemony, right? The ones who really like following rules and making logical decisions. We value order and efficiency." Right. Very sensible. So here's what I don't understand. If you are so logical, why are you keeping me alive?" The question hit like a plasma bolt. Thex 9 opened his mouth, then closed it. Why were they keeping him alive? Standard protocol for enemy survivors was immediate elimination, but something had stopped him from giving that order. "Require information." "About what?" "The war's over. You won. What could I possibly know that would be useful?" "Military secrets, hidden bases, contingency plans." Marcus laughed, and the sound was genuinely amused. "Oh, you sweet, naive alien. You think humans plan things that far ahead? We barely plan what we are having for lunch. Impossible. Your species fought for decades. You must have had strategies. Our strategy was mostly try not to die and maybe blow something up if we get the chance. Not exactly complex." Thex 9 felt his worldview cracking. The humans had been their greatest enemy. They'd fought with cunning and intelligence, adapting to every situation, turning defeats into victories through sheer audacity. They couldn't have been just winging it. "You are lying." "Am I? Tell me, Commander." "It is Commander, right? The uniform gives it away. Tell me, what was your most frustrating battle against humans?" "The siege of Proxima Station," Thex 9 answered automatically, then immediately regretted it. "Ah yes, I heard about that one. Your forces had the station surrounded, completely cut off. No way in, no way out. Perfect siege situation. Should have been over in days. It took 8 months, right? And why do you think that was?" Thex 9's mandibles clicked involuntarily. "Because humans are unpredictable and refuse to follow logical tactical doctrine." "Or," Marcus said with a grin, "because the commanding officer was a guy named Jake Murphy who was too stubborn to surrender and too stupid to realize he was supposed to lose." That's not a strategy." "Exactly, it's not a strategy, it's just Jake being Jake. But your forces kept trying to figure out what brilliant plan he was following when really he was just making it up as he went along." The medical bay fell silent except for the hum of life support systems. Thex 9 processed this information, and with each second his headache grew worse. "You are telling me," he said slowly, "that your species' greatest military victories were accidents." "Not accidents. Happy coincidences. There's a difference." "What difference?" "Accidents are when something goes wrong. Happy coincidences are when something goes wrong, but works out anyway." Lieutenant Pora 3 made a whimpering sound. "Sir, my brain hurts." "Join the club," Thex 9 muttered. Marcus sat up straighter, looking more alert. "So, here's what I'm really curious about. You said you wiped out humanity 6 months ago. Destroyed the homeworld, eliminated the colonies, defeated the military. Very thorough." "Yes, but you missed me. You were in a cryo-pod, in a debris field. The odds of survival were impossible." "Yeah, I get that part. But here's the thing." Marcus leaned forward, and suddenly his casual demeanor shifted. For just a moment, Thax-9 caught a glimpse of something else in the human's eyes. Something sharp and calculating. If you missed me, what else did you miss? The question hung in the air like a poisonous gas. Thax-9 felt his 3 hearts resume their synchronized beating. Faster now. There are no other survivors, he said, but the words lacked conviction. Are you sure? Because humans are really good at 2 things. Being underestimated, and being exactly where they are not supposed to be. Our sweeps were comprehensive. Were they? Did you check every asteroid? Every derelict ship? Every impossible item spot that no reasonable species would ever think to use? Thax-9's mandibles clicked rapidly. We followed standard protocols. Standard protocols. Marcus nodded thoughtfully. Right, the same standard protocols that said I should be dead right now. The silence stretched until Lieutenant Pora 3 finally spoke. Sir, should we contact High Command? Already did. Thax-9 lied. He hadn't wanted to report the humans' existence until he understood what they were dealing with. Now he was beginning to suspect that was a mistake. Good, Marcus said brightly. I'm sure they will be very interested to hear about this conversation. What conversation? The one where their field commander starts to realize that maybe, just maybe, humanity isn't quite as extinct as everyone thought. Thax-9 stared at the human, trying to read his expression. But Marcus had returned to his casual, almost friendly demeanor, leaving the commander unsure if he'd imagined that moment of calculated intelligence. You are bluffing, Thax-9 decided. Am I? Here's the thing about humans, Commander. We are terrible at a lot of things. We are bad at following orders, worse at strategic planning, and absolutely horrible at knowing when to quit. That doesn't make you dangerous. No, but it makes us persistent. And persistence, as you learned during the war, can be very inconvenient. The medical bay's door chimed and another officer entered. Commander, we are receiving a priority communication from High Command. Thax-9 felt his blood freeze. What kind of communication? They are asking for confirmation of our salvage manifest. Specifically, they want to know if we have found any unusual items. Marcus smiled, and this time there was definitely something predatory in the expression. Unusual items. Like, say, a human who should be dead. How did you... Lucky guess. Or maybe... Marcus paused dramatically. Maybe I'm not the only surprise you are going to find. The communication officer looked confused. Sir, there's more. They are reporting anomalous readings from several sectors. Ships detecting energy signatures that don't match any known technology. What kind of energy signatures? Human. The word dropped into the room like a bomb. Thax-9 felt his worldview shift again, this time more violently. That's impossible, he whispered. Is it? Marcus asked. Or is it just improbable? Because humans specialize in making improbable things happen. The homeworld was destroyed. Yes, it was. Very thoroughly. From what I understand. But here's the thing about humans, Commander. We don't keep all our eggs in one basket. We spread out. We hide. We make backup plans for our backup plans. You said humans don't plan ahead. I said we don't plan what we are having for lunch. Survival? That's different. That's instinct. Thax-9 looked at the communication officer. How many anomalous readings? 17 confirmed. Possibly more. 17. Thax-9 felt dizzy. 17 human ships. Or 17 human outposts. Or 17 human colonies that you never found. Or 17 human fleets that have been waiting for exactly this moment. Marcus stood up, stretching casually. The thing about declaring victory too early is that it gives your enemy time to regroup, and humans are really good at regrouping. This is impossible. Commander, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Marcus walked to the viewport, looking out at the stars. The war you thought you won. It was just the first round. What? You defeated the human government. You destroyed the human military. You eliminated the human colonies. But you made one critical mistake. What mistake? Marcus turned back to face him, and now there was no mistaking the intelligence in his eyes. You assumed that was all there was. The communication officer's equipment started beeping rapidly. Sir, we are getting more reports. Energy signatures are appearing throughout the sector. And they are moving. Moving where? Toward us. Thax-9 felt his world collapse. How many? I'm count D7 distinct signatures. No, wait. Make that 63. Sir, they are still appearing. Marcus walked back to the medical bed and sat down, looking perfectly relaxed. You know what the funny thing is, Commander? I genuinely don't know if this is part of some grand plan or if it's just another happy coincidence. What are you talking about? Well, either humanity has been playing a very long game setting up for exactly this scenario, or you just got really, really unlucky by finding me. Which is it? Marcus grinned. Does it matter? Either way, your nice, quiet, post-war galaxy just got a lot more interesting. The communication officer's voice cracked. Sir, I'm reading over 100 signatures now. They are everywhere. Everywhere. Every sect, every system. It's like they were waiting for some kind of signal. X9 looked at Marcus, who was still smiling that infuriating casual smile. What signal? Oh, I don't know. Maybe the signal that humanity wasn't quite as dead as everyone thought. You are saying your rescue triggered this. I'm saying maybe the galaxy's about to learn why humans are so hard to kill. The medical bay shook suddenly as the ship's engines fired up. X9 grabbed his communicator. Bridge. Report. Sir, we are detecting multiple vessels on intercept courses. They are not showing up on our identification systems. Are they human? Unknown, sir. But they are definitely not hegemony. Marcus stood up again. This time with purpose. Commander, I think you are about to get a very interesting lesson in human persistence. What lesson? That reports of our extinction were greatly exaggerated. The ship shook again, more violently this time. X9 could hear alarms beginning to sound throughout the vessel. Sir, the communication officer said, his voice barely above a whisper, we are being hailed. By whom? Unknown. But the transmission is coming from everywhere. Marcus clapped his hands together. Oh, this is going to be fun. Fun? X9 stared at him. We are potentially under attack by an unknown force. Unknown to you, maybe. But I'm starting to remember why I was in that cryo-pod. What do you mean? I mean, I'm starting to remember what humanity was really planning while you were busy winning the war. The hail came through the ship's speakers, and the voice that emerged was distinctly human, distinctly female, and distinctly amused. Hegemony vessel Retribution. This is Admiral Sarah Knox of the Terran Resistance Fleet. We understand you have something that belongs to us. The voice of Admiral Sarah Knox echoed through the Retribution's bridge like a death sentence wrapped in polite conversation. Commander X9 stared at the communication console, his 3 hearts beating so fast they might as well have been playing percussion music. Something that belongs to you? He managed to croak into the transmitter. Oh yes, came the cheerful reply. About 6 feet tall, brown hair, probably making jokes at inappropriate times. Goes by the name Marcus Kane. Ring any bell? X9 looked through the medical bay viewport at Marcus, who was now waving enthusiastically at the communication console as if he could see through it. Tell her I said hi, Marcus called out, and ask if she brought snacks. I'm absolutely starving. The human X9 paused, trying to find words that wouldn't make him sound completely insane. The human is in good health. Excellent. We will be over to collect him shortly. We? Lieutenant Pora 3 squeaked. Oh, didn't I mention I brought friends? Quite a few friends, actually. The tactical display lit up like a festival celebration. Red dots appeared around the Retribution, dozens of them, then hundreds. Each dot represented a vessel that shouldn't exist, crewed by people who should be dead. How many friends? X9 asked weakly. Well, let's see. Admiral Knox's voice carried the tone of someone checking a grocery list. There's the 3rd Fleet. What's left of the Martian Defense Force? A bunch of very angry colonists from the Outer Rim, and… oh, this is fun. Remember the Phantom Squadron? The one you reported as completely destroyed? That's impossible. We confirmed their elimination. You confirmed the destruction of their ships. Turns out humans are remarkably good at abandoning ship at the last minute. Who knew? Marcus had somehow procured a chair and was now sitting backwards on it, chin resting on his hands, watching the show with obvious delight. Sarah always did have a flair for the dramatic, he commented. You know her? X9 demanded. Know her. I trained her. Best student I ever had, though I suspect she's gotten a lot better since I have been napping. The communication crackled again. Marcus? I can hear you through the comm channel. Stop showing off. I'm not showing off. I'm providing context. These nice aliens seem confused about how we are still alive. The nice aliens, Admiral Knox replied dryly, are about to get a very thorough education. Commander Thex-9 felt sweat beading on his carapace. Admiral Knox, perhaps we can discuss terms. Terms? Oh, Commander, you misunderstand the situation. We are not here to negotiate. Then what do you want? What we want is very simple. We want our guy back, and we want to have a little chat about this whole extinction business. The tactical officer's voice cracked as he reported, "Sir, I'm reading over 300 vessels now. They are forming a perimeter around us." 300, Thex-9 repeated numbly. "That's just the first wave," Marcus said helpfully. "Sarah likes to be thorough. First wave? Oh yes. The Resistance has been very busy these past 6 months. Turns out, when you declare an entire species extinct, it frees up a lot of resources for creative endeavors." Admiral Knox's voice returned, now with an edge of steel beneath the pleasant tone. "Commander, I'm going to explain something that your intelligence services apparently miss. When humans are pushed to the brink of extinction, we don't just curl up and die. We adapt. We evolve. We become something new." "What do you mean?" "I mean you have been fighting the old humanity, the one that followed rules, respected boundaries, and played by the established galactic order. That humanity is gone. You killed it." Marcus nodded approvingly. "See, this is why I liked training her. She gets it." "Gets what?" Thex-9 snapped. "That sometimes you have to lose everything to discover what you are really capable of." The ship shuddered as something large moved past the viewport. Thex-9 caught a glimpse of a vessel that looked like it had been cobbled together from spare parts, scrap metal and what appeared to be pure spite. It was ugly, asymmetrical, and somehow radiating menace. "What in the void is that thing?" "That," Marcus said proudly, "is what happens when human engineers don't have to worry about safety regulations anymore. It looks like it's held together with adhesive strips and good intentions." "Probably is, but I bet it packs a punch." Admiral Knox's voice came through with what sounded suspiciously like laughter. "Commander, you are looking at the makeshift, formerly the cargo hauler Betty Sue. Captain Williams rebuilt her from the ground up after your forces destroyed his home colony. Rebuilt her into what? Into something that can crack a dreadnought in half with a single shot. Turns out when you are not worried about inspector approval, you can do some very interesting things with fusion reactors." The tactical display showed more vessels moving into position. Each one looked different from the last, as if they'd been designed by different species entirely. Some were sleek and predatory, others looked like flying scrapyards, and a few appeared to defy several laws of physics. "How is this possible?" Thex-9 whispered. "Commander," Admiral Knox said, her voice now carrying a teaching tone, "let me tell you about human ingenuity under pressure. When you destroyed our shipyards, we built new ones in asteroid fields. When you eliminated our supply lines, we learned to make everything from scratch. When you scattered our population, we turned every survivor into a potential cell of resistance. You couldn't have coordinated this. The communication networks were destroyed. Were they? Or did we just let you think they were destroyed?" Marcus stood up and walked to the viewport, looking out at the growing fleet. "You know what the beautiful thing about humans is, Commander? We are social creatures. We form connections, networks, communities, and when you try to destroy those connections, we form new ones," Admiral Knox finished. "Stronger ones, hidden ones, ones that can't be detected by conventional means." "What kind of means?" "The kind that involve children's games, old song lyrics, and recipes for grandmother's cookies." Thex-9 felt his sanity slipping away. "You are using cooking instructions as military communications. Among other things, amazing what you can hide in a seemingly innocent transmission about proper pie crust technique." The communication officer looked up from his console, his face pale. "Sir, we are receiving hundreds of transmissions now. They are all about food." "Food?" Marcus grinned. "Recipe swap network. Been running for decades. Amazing how much tactical information you can embed in a discussion about seizing ratios." Thex-9 paused, trying to process this. "That's completely insane. Is it? Or is it the perfect cover? What military intelligence service is going to flag a conversation about baking bread?" Admiral Knox's voice crackled through again. Commander, I think it's time we had a face-to-face conversation. I'm sending a shuttle over. Absolutely not. We are not allowing enemy personnel aboard this vessel. Enemy personnel. The voice carried amusement again. Commander, look at your tactical display, really look at it. X9 did, and his blood froze. The red dots weren't just surrounding them anymore. They were everywhere. Above, below, in every direction. The Retribution was completely enclosed in a sphere of human vessels. How many ships do you have? He asked weakly. Enough, Admiral Knox replied. The real question is, how many do you have? The answer was one. One ship, with a crew of 47, surrounded by what appeared to be half the human species that was supposed to be extinct. This is impossible, X9 repeated, but the words had lost all meaning. Commander, Marcus said gently, I think you are about to learn something very important about impossible things. What's that? Humans specialize in making them happen anyway. The shuttle bay doors opened, and a small craft glided in with the confidence of someone who owned the place. X9 watched on the monitor as the shuttle landed and a figure emerged. Admiral Sarah Knox was tall, dark-haired, and moved with the fluid grace of someone who'd spent years in zero gravity. She was also smiling, which somehow made her more terrifying than any weapon. Should we arrest her? Lieutenant Pora 3 asked. With what? X9 replied. She's got 300 ships out there. I don't think she's particularly worried about our security protocol. Admiral Knox arrived at the medical bay within minutes, followed by two other humans who looked like they could bench press a starship. She took one look at Marcus and shook her head. You look terrible, she said. Thank you. I have been dead for 6 months. I think I'm doing pretty well, all things considered. Fair point. She turned to Commander X9. Commander, thank you for taking such good care of our friend here. We found him drifting in space. Yes, we know. We have been tracking that cryo-pod for months. Tracking it. X9 felt reality shift again. You knew where he was? Of course we knew. We put him there. Marcus raised an eyebrow. You put me there. I thought I was just really unlucky. Oh, you were unlucky. But we have learned to make good use of bad luck. Admiral Knox walked to the viewport and gestured at the fleet outside. Marcus, meet the new humanity. The one that rose from the ashes of the old one. Impressive, Marcus said, genuinely admiring. How did you coordinate all this? We didn't. That's the beautiful part. We didn't need to. What do you mean? I mean, every human who survived the purge came to the same conclusion independently. The old way wasn't working. Time to try something new. Commander X9 watched this exchange with growing horror. What new? Admiral Knox turned to him with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. The way where we stop playing by everyone else's rules and start making our own. What does that mean? It means, Commander, that the war you thought you won was just the opening act. The real war is about to begin. But your species is extinct. No, Commander. Our species was reborn, and we are very different from the humans you remember. Marcus walked over to join Admiral Knox at the viewport. How different? Well, for starters, we don't care about preserving the galactic order anymore. Kind of hard to care about a system that tried to wipe you out. Fair point. We also don't care about following established military doctrine. Turns out when you are fighting for the survival of your species, you get very creative very quickly. And we have had 6 months to prepare for this moment. 6 months to build ships, train crews, and plan exactly what we are going to do when the galaxy realizes we are still here. And Commander X9 felt compelled to ask the question he was dreading. The answer to, what are you going to do? Admiral Knox's smile widened. We are going to remind everyone why humans are so hard to kill. That's not an answer, isn't it? Commander, your people spent decades trying to defeat humanity through conventional warfare. You couldn't do it, so you decided to commit genocide instead. Congratulations, you succeeded. Then how are you here? Because genocide and extinction are two different things. You killed the old humanity, but you forgot something very important about humans. What? We are remarkably good at coming back from the dead. The communication system crackled to life with a new voice. Admiral Knox? This is Captain Williams aboard the makeshift. We have got movement in the outer system. Looks like the hegemony fleet is finally responding to our presence. How many ships? Roughly 200 men. Standard battle formation. Admiral Knox turned to Commander Thex-9. 200 ships. That's impressive. How long do you think they will last? Against 300 human vessels. Assuming equal firepower, it should be a reasonably even fight. Equal firepower. Admiral Knox laughed, and the sound was genuinely delighted. Commander, you are still thinking like the old humanity, the one that played fair. What do you mean? I mean we are not fighting fair anymore. We are fighting to win. Marcus grinned. Oh, this is going to be good. Marcus, remember what I taught you about overwhelming force? That there's no such thing as overkill, only open fire and the reload. Exactly. Commander, would you like to see what the new humanity looks like when it's not holding back? Before Thex-9 could answer, the tactical display exploded with activity. The human fleet began moving, but not in any formation he recognized. Instead of the orderly battle lines he expected, the ships scattered in all directions, moving in patterns that seemed completely random. What are they doing? He asked. Whatever they want, Admiral Knox replied. That's the beauty of not having a central command structure anymore. Every ship is autonomous. Every captain makes their own decisions. That's chaos. Yes, it is, and chaos is very hard to fight against. The hegemony fleet appeared on the edge of the system, 200 ships in perfect formation, advancing with the precision of a military parade. They looked professional, disciplined, and completely outmatched. This is Fleet Admiral Korvax Prime, came a transmission from the hegemony forces. Unknown vessels. You are in violation of hegemony space. Surrender immediately or face destruction. Admiral Knox picked up the communication device. Fleet Admiral Korvax Prime, this is Admiral Sarah Knox of the Terran Resistance. We are not unknown vessel. We are your worst nightmare come to life. Impossible. Humanity is extinct. Funny thing about extinction, Admiral, it's very hard to verify when the species in question is really good at hiding. We will not be intimidated by ghosts. Admiral Knox looked at Marcus and laughed. Admiral, we are not ghosts. We are something much worse. What? We are humans with nothing left to lose. The first shots fired by the hegemony fleet missed their targets entirely. The human ships had scattered so widely that conventional targeting systems couldn't lock onto them. Instead of fighting a battle, the hegemony found themselves trying to hit individual ships that were moving in completely unpredictable patterns. They are not following any tactical doctrine, the tactical officer reported, his voice strained. That's because they don't have one, Admiral Knox explained. Every human captain out there is making it up as they go along, and humans are very good at improvisation. A human ship that looked like it had been assembled from mining equipment suddenly accelerated directly at a hegemony cruiser. At the last second, it fired what appeared to be a modified industrial laser directly into the cruiser's engine core. The cruiser exploded. What was that? Commander Thex-9 demanded. That was Captain Peterson showing off his new toy. Turns out mining lasers are very effective against ship hulls when you remove the safety limiters. That's insane. Yes, it is, and it worked. More human ships began their attacks, each one using completely different tactics. Some fired conventional weapons. Others used improvised devices that defied identification. One ship appeared to be launching modified cargo containers that exploded on impact. They are using civilian equipment as weapons, the tactical officer reported in disbelief. Of course they are, Admiral Knox said. When you are fighting for survival, everything becomes a weapon. The battle, if it could be called that, was completely one-sided. The hegemony fleet, trained for conventional warfare, couldn't adapt to the chaos of human innovation. Ships that should have been easy targets became deadly opponents. Weapons that shouldn't exist tore through armor that should have been impenetrable. Within an hour, the 200-ship hegemony fleet was reduced to scattered debris and escape pods. This is impossible, Commander Thex-9 whispered. Commander, Admiral Knox said gently, I think you need to expand your definition of possible. How did you do it? We stopped fighting the way you expected us to fight. We stopped being the humanity you thought you knew. Marcus nodded approvingly. Evolution in action. Beautiful to watch. What happens now? Thex-9 asked. Admiral Knox looked at him with something that might have been pity. Now, Commander, the galaxy gets to meet the new humanity, the one that learned the most important lesson of all. What lesson? That when you have nothing left to lose, you can accomplish anything. The communications system crackled with reports from across the galaxy. Human fleets were appearing in every sector, engaging hegemony forces with the same devastating effectiveness. The war that had been declared over was starting again, but this time, the humans weren't playing by anyone's rules but their own. "Commander," Admiral Knox said, "I'm going to give you a choice. You can come with us and see what the galaxy looks like when humans stop holding back, or you can stay here and wait for the rest of the hegemony to realize that reports of our extinction were greatly exaggerated." "What if I choose to stay?" "Then you will miss the most interesting show in galactic history." Marcus clapped Commander Thex-9 on the shoulder. "Trust me, Commander. You want to see this. Besides, someone needs to document what happens when an entire species gets really angry." Commander Thex-9 looked at the tactical display showing the scattered remains of the hegemony fleet. He looked at Admiral Knox, who was smiling like someone who had just solved a puzzle that had been bothering her for months. He looked at Marcus, who was grinning like this was the best day of his life. "What the hell?" he said finally. "It's not like things can get any stranger." Admiral Knox's smile widened. "Commander, you have no idea what strange looks like yet." As the Retribution joined the human fleet, Commander Thex-9 realized that everything he thought he knew about warfare, about strategy, about the nature of conflict itself, was about to be completely rewritten. The galaxy was about to learn that humans weren't just hard to kill, they were impossible to keep down. And when they came back different. The war was over. The real war was just beginning.